Have you ever wondered about the power of a promise, especially one made by the divine to a mortal man? Let's journey together through the opening of Genesis chapter 15, a chapter steeped in divine intervention and promises of epic proportions. Here, we find God appearing to Abram in a vision, a profound spectacle promising protection and vast rewards. But Abram, despite being the recipient of such grand promises, wrestles with disbelief. He finds himself in the twilight of his life, childless, and the weight of this reality threatens to eclipse the promises of God. Yet, in this moment of doubt, God reassures Abram. He paints a picture of a progeny as countless as the stars in the night sky, a promise so vast it's almost unimaginable. This divine promise, a beacon in Abram's uncertainty, becomes a pivotal moment in his story. And so, a promise was made, a promise that would shape the destiny of entire nations. But how does one ensure that a promise of such magnitude holds true? As we delve deeper into Genesis chapter 15, we come across Abram wrestling with doubts. He had been given a grand promise by God, yet he found himself childless and growing old. He wondered, how could he father a nation without an heir? In response, God did something remarkable. He led Abram outside and asked him to look at the stars, telling him that his descendants would be as numerous. But God didn't stop there. He understood Abram's need for assurance, so he initiated an unusual ritual. Imagine a scene where animals, a heifer, a goat, a ram, a dove, and a young pigeon are cut in half and laid opposite each other. This was a common practice in ancient times to seal a pact. The parties involved would walk between the animal halves, as if to say, "May it be done to me as it was done to these animals, if I break this covenant." But in this divine covenant, it was God who moved between the pieces in the form of a smoking firepot and a blazing torch. It was his way of saying, "Abram, I am fully committed to keeping my promise." Moreover, God gave Abram a glimpse of the future. He foretold that Abram's descendants would be strangers in a foreign land, subjected to 400 years of suffering, yet God assured him they would not be forgotten. After their affliction, they would come out with great possessions and return to their promised land. The promise was not just about land or numerous descendants, it was about God's steadfast love and faithfulness, his commitment to Abram and his lineage. It was not just about the present, but also about the future, a future filled with trials, but ultimately leading to liberation. It was not just a promise, but a covenant, a divine pact, sealed with a ritual and a prophecy. This divine covenant was God's assurance to Abram, and through him to all of us, that his word is trustworthy and his promises sure. So, what does this remarkable chapter in Genesis tell us? Genesis chapter 15 is a narrative that unfolds an unusual promise, a divine covenant and a prophecy. It tells us of God's promise to Abram, assuring him of an heir and descendants as numerous as the stars in the sky. It's a promise that seems impossible given Abram's advanced age and his wife Sarai's barrenness. Yet, Genesis chapter 15 is also about a divine covenant, a binding agreement between God and Abram. In this covenant, God pledges the land of Canaan to Abram's descendants, marking a significant moment in biblical history. Lastly, we see a prophecy about Abram's descendants. They will be strangers in a land not their own, enslaved and oppressed for 400 years. However, they will come out with great possessions. Genesis chapter 15 then serves as a pivotal moment in biblical history, a testament to divine promise and human faith. What can we draw from this ancient narrative in our modern lives? Genesis chapter 15 is not a dusty relic of the past, but a vibrant, living testament that continues to speak to us today. Its themes of faith, perseverance, and the belief in a higher power are as relevant now as they were thousands of years ago. Consider the faith of Abram, who believed in a promise that seemed impossible. His faith was not passive but active, engaging with doubts and fears, yet holding steadfast. It mirrors our own struggles, our own hopes, and our own faith in the face of adversity. Then there's the divine covenant, a powerful reminder that there is a higher power at work, guiding us, watching over us, and fulfilling promises in ways we could never imagine. It's a call to each of us to reflect on the divine presence in our own lives and the promises we are yet to see fulfilled. In the end, Genesis chapter 15 is not just a story. It's a lesson in faith, promise, and the power of divine covenant.